What is up everyone, my name is Jasper and in today's video I want to show you guys how I'm doing a quick little site audit to see if there's some stuff that I can improve on my website. Now this is a very simple approach and it's done with Google Search Console, and it kind of narrows down some stuff that you can add to some of your existing articles, or you can even find some stuff that you can write an entirely new article on. So this is a very quick and easy way, and this is probably going to be a bit of a shorter video than usual, but it's a pretty simple way to kind of get more out of your existing content. Now before we dive into it, I do need to say that this only really works when you have a website and it's already pulling in some traffic, there's already some data, because you kind of need your Google Search Console data for this to work. Anyway, without further ado, let's just dive into the computer and show you guys how I do this little site audit. So we're right here on Google Search Console, and Google Search Console is really not going to be all that important for this. It's basically the page where we pull the data from. So you go to the top right here, you click on export, and there are several options. You can go with whatever one you want. I'm not the biggest Excel fan, so I typically just go with a Google Sheet. And when you click on that, it will of course open your Google Sheet. So this is the sheet that you're going to get. And of course I do need to blur some stuff out here because this is one of my sites, but I can show you what I'm doing here. So right here you can see the top queries. It's the first like row or cell, I'm not sure what to call it, but it's the first section, it's top queries, and this is basically stuff that people are typing into Google and your site shows up for. This is something that is of course super valuable to all of us. We then also have the clicks, so this is how many people are actually clicking on the article, so they're typing in a certain query, and how many people are actually clicking on our site. This is then the impressions, which is of course how many eyeballs are actually on our website. It's not necessarily that they click on the website, but if someone Googles something and our site shows up, that's an impression. If they click on it, that's a click. And the kind of metric that determines that is the click-through rate, which in this particular case, for example, is 38%, which is just unheard of. But this is a pretty niche down query. Then we have, of course, the position, and as you can see, if your position is 1.4, so that's basically the number one position, that of course means that, that you're ranking number one and your click-through rate is going to be very high. But what we're doing from here is I basically ignore the position section, and I kind of ignore the click section. The one thing that I always really work on is the impression section. So what we can do is we click on the C right here, then we go to data, and then sort sheet, and then sort sheet by column C, and then Z to A. That will now sort all of this according to the impressions. So right here you can see the impressions are going from the highest to the lowest, and the queries and clicks and stuff are all the same as well. So what I do from here is, you can see right here, I get 9,000 impressions for this particular query. It grants me 120 clicks, which means it's a click-through rate of 1.3%. That isn't all that much, but I do know that this example is a pretty top-down query. This is not really a question or something I intend to rank for. This is just kind of like an added bonus. But right here, this one, for example, is something I am actively writing on and I do want people to click on. And that's a query that gets 6,000 impressions and 231 clicks. That comes down to a click-through rate of 3.8%, which is really respectable in my opinion. And you can see the average position is 3.16. Typically with a click-through rate like this, I wouldn't really touch it. I think it's fine like this. A click-through rate of 3 or higher is, to me, typically a sign that I'm doing something right. But right here, for example, we got another one where the click-through rate is only 1.1%. That isn't all that much, and I think I can get it higher. So right here we have the query, then we have the impressions, so I know that there's about 6,000 eyeballs on this particular query, but I only get 70 clicks. What I do from here is I take this particular query and I type it into Google. Google then shows me the results, and it shows me who's ranking number one, if there are any like video widgets or people also ask widgets or whatever. It shows you what people are seeing that are actually Googling this particular question. Now the magic in that is that with that data, I can now see that there are 6,000 potential clicks here because those are the impressions. Now, of course, you're not going to capture all of those, but I hope to capture more than 1.2%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the competition. Do they have a better article? Why are they ranking above me? And what can I do to make sure that I beat them in the future? And if I am ranking number one and only get a low click-through rate, how can I improve the title? How can I make my article more click-worthy? And that's really some stuff that you can look at, and you really just optimize the content that's already there. We are always in a sort of mindset that we need to produce more and more and more and more. But sometimes it really just benefits you to take a step back and look at what's already there. Now in this particular case, I am already ranking, and if I can only double the click-through rate, I'm doubling the page views for this particular query, and that is already a massive win in and of itself. And that's just for this one query. Now, from here you can kind of go two ways. Maybe you've already written an article. In this case, for this particular query I'm using now, I've already written the article. So all I can do is improve on it. But if I go through this entire list, and as you can see, there's hundreds of potential queries. There's bound to be some that I haven't written on, but I'm already putting traffic in. Now I found a quick example. It was just right below. Right here you can see 5,000 impressions, 50 clicks, just under a 1% click-through rate. And this is a query that I just haven't written on. I'm pretty sure that I also have never written a subheading about this either. So this right here, I'm already getting traffic to this. So it shows me that I get traffic with an article that's not really related to the question. So it shows me that the competition is not all that high. What I can do from here is I can just take this query, write an entire article on it, and I know that there's 5,000 people at minimum that are looking this up, and it's just right there for the taking. So this shows me that this right here is an article that I should write as soon as possible. But other ways you can go is, of course, maybe the query is more suitable for kind of in addition to an existing article. Maybe it's an extra subheading to an article you've already written. But the way you can kind of look at all of this is it basically shows you what you should improve on your articles, what you should add on your articles, and what you should write about based on actual data. It's no more like guessing in the dark. It's no more the typical keyword research where you just hope that it pulls in traffic. Right here, it showed me it gets 5,000 impressions. I already get clicks, and I haven't even written an article on it. So if I write a dedicated full-on article on this particular query, I am bound to rank and get some more traffic. So I really hope my explanation made sense. I know it's kind of all over the place. I'm still partly figuring all of this out, but there's a lot of things that you can do with this particular data set. So firstly, so far I found 20 titles that I can now write an entire article on that I know is going to get traffic. I know the competition isn't there because I'm already ranking pretty solidly with an article that's not relevant to the main question. So it really is just almost like a shortcut to writing articles that are going to actually pull in traffic. Now, however way you're using this, whether you're just adding new subheadings to existing articles or writing entirely new articles or improving your titles for a higher click-through rate, it doesn't really matter because whatever you're going to do, you are going to optimize what's already there, and that's going to improve the overall quality of your website. Now, of course, I am still a big fan of just publishing more and more content, but sometimes it's really beneficial to just take a step back and optimize what's already there. For example, I had one in this kind of list in this data set where I was pulling in 300 page views a month, which is already pretty decent, but it was through an article that wasn't even relevant to the main question. I've now written an article on the actual topic, a full-blown dedicated article, and it's already putting in an extra 100 page views a month, and the article is only a few months old. So I just cannot wait to see what it will do because it's going to outrank the old article that didn't really belong there anyway. And going from my average 4 to 5% click-through rate that I'm seeing on this particular website, I know that this particular article will probably end up bringing in around 800 to 1200 page views a month. And that is super solid. So that's really how I'm using it. I'm currently using it for the two main websites that I'm focusing on, which are the home site and the accessory site. But I would be lying if I said that I'm not super excited to try this out for the beauty site as well. The beauty site, of course, is currently in its revival project. It is a bit of a priority number 2 project. I'm not really working on it that actively, but the kind of plan for the beauty site was to improve the articles. And I initially wanted to do that by kind of just shooting in the dark and improving what I knew was good back in the day. But right now I can improve on stuff where the eyeballs are. So that's really what the impressions show me. The impressions is basically a list of where the eyeballs are and where traffic is currently hiding. That's really the way I'm going to use this. I'm going to use it for basically all my sites, and I think it's really good to just do this at a regular interval. Maybe every 9 or every 12 months. It's time to just go back, see if you can make some improvements on your old articles, and see if you can capitalize even more on what's already there. Anyway, that is really it for this video today. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a more technical video, But I think it's a very helpful one, especially for some of you guys that are in a situation like me, where sometimes it kind of feels like the site is in a bit of a plateau. It really just, it's a nice break from constantly pumping out new content. It's a nice break to just go back and optimize what's already there. Anyway, I really want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.